on the second day of April 2022, and it's hard to believe, it is really hard to believe that tax season will come to an end this year in 16 days. 16 days. The deadline this year is April 18th because Friday the 15th is Good Friday. So Good Friday being a holiday for federal workers and the government, the IRS can be shut down. They're not taking tax returns that day. So they pushed it on to the next business day, which is Monday, April 18th. And if you need your tax return done, go ahead and give me a call. Go ahead and give me a call if you need your tax return done. I'm going to try my best to get it done, but right about now, we're extending. Emily's with me this morning. So there are here. The microphone's got to be there. You go, Emily. Good. Good morning. Say it again.
Good morning.
Testing. We're here. Live right here, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. And I barely slept last night. We left the office and I was just wide awake. Just could not wait to get here this morning. There are so many things to talk about and there is so much happening. So our telephone number, because we can't help you, we can still extend for you. So what's due April 18th? Form 1040, which is the individual. And what else is due? Corporations, which is
1120s.
1120. See, she just became an enrolled agent, and I am mentoring her every step of the way. So you didn't know there was going to be a pop quiz this morning.
Oh, yes, I did.
1120s. 1120s. That is a C Corp. If you're a C Corp, you file, it's due that day. Now, if you're an LLC or a partnership, your due date was March 15th. Unless you were extended. We extended quite a few of them this year, not just because we were behind schedule or that we were behind schedule, but so many of the forms were coming late this year. I've got clients that are still waiting on 1099-Bs from their financial houses, they got their 1099s, and now they received an email saying, oh, there was a mistake in it, we're going to send you an amended or a corrected, and there has just been a flurry of those happening. So we told people the best thing to do is let's just file an extension, and that way you're good. But an extension to file, Emily, is?
Not an extension to pay.
That's right. So if you think you're going to owe, and typically, I'm really surprised how consistent people are. Chances are if you owed last year, you're going to owe this year. And we usually look back at the last 2 years. Did you owe? Did you not owe? Now, if you did owe over $1,000, it's a law, but it's not, the downside's not that steep. You are supposed to have made estimated payments throughout the year, but we can always send a little bit of money with that estimate. With that extension. We can send an estimated payment with the extension, and if you overpay, you'll get it back, or we can apply it to next year. So there's really very little downside to do with that. Boy, Todd, we just got right into it this morning, didn't we? We just jumped right into the deep end, too. We weren't fooling around. My engineer this morning, Todd. Good morning, Todd. Are you fine? Are you well? You are wonderful. Yeah, I'm fabulous. You're wonderful. So I'm gonna drop the bombshell. I don't know that it's even been advertised yet. This is the bombshell this morning. Are you ready? We are doing a live. Do you even know this, Todd? You might not even know this. I volunteered you. I hope you're not doing anything April 16th from 8 to 9. That's your normal Saturday on, isn't it?
It's also my anniversary weekend.
What a way to spend your anniversary. I am so excited.
Won't be here.
You'll be here.
Won't be here.
You won't be here. No, I'm sorry, Todd. You will be here. We are going to be live.
Well, seeing as you brought me that beautiful gift on the desk out there, I'll make an exception.
We'll talk about that later. April 16th, we are going to be live at, where are we going to be? North Carolina Tractor. Yes, Phil called. Phil, good morning, Phil. I know you're listening. Called Jim and asked if we could do a live broadcast again. The last one we did was in 2019. It'll be 3 years because of the Wuhan virus.
Oh, that thing called COVID.
The China virus, yes, that thing also called COVID. that because of that, we didn't do it the last 2 years. And I was excited when Jim called me and said, Phil would like to do another live broadcast from there. So we're going to do that. That's going to be our last program of the season. With tax season ending the 18th, we're going to go ahead and that'll be our last program. And we'll button it up nicely and then take a little break before we come back. But we will come back. But I'm really excited about it. I know it's a little far out there to see what the weather's going to be like. But we're really, really excited. So people are invited. And there's going to be some commercials and things about it coming out. But Todd, I am really sorry you're not going to be there.
I'll see what I can do.
You'll see what you can do.
You did bring me a beautiful gift.
Yeah, and you brought me one too. So we're
Well, I see what you're going to do. See how that works.
This is live radio, folks. We're here. We shouldn't even take a commercial break. We should just talk the whole hour because some of the best things we talk about during the break. Those of you live streaming, www.wcab59.com. You're seeing Gilbert and Emily here. So you have two EAs live on the here in the Blue Room. And those of you live streaming that pick us up later on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. And those of you that called with questions, and I got quite a few questions. I've gotten quite a few questions. And I spoke with a lady yesterday who called me to tell me her husband had passed away, and he listened to us all the time. And she did have a tax question. Her husband had passed away, and she had some tax questions about that. But she said she listened to us all the time, and you know who you are. Thank you so much for calling, and I was so glad I called you back, and we got to talk for a little while. And all of you that call, thank you so much. It's been a great year. Now, let me talk about this. We'll get into a break, and then Emily wants to talk about the deadline coming up for 2018 taxes for people. Yes, we'll get into that. And your timing on that's perfect because this is usually about the time of the year I bring that subject up. But let me talk about this. And I talk about the disconnect that the IRS, that exists. What's the proper way to say this grammatically? The disconnect that exists at the IRS, but really it's a disconnect that exists in government, period. Government is disconnected from our lives. And I really think that's a big part of the problem. They have solutions for problems that don't even exist. They're unaware of real problems that we face every day. They're definitely clueless as to what small business goes through. The people that get up at 5 in the morning to go to work, to go to run a business because they want to, because other people depend on them and what they do is valuable to the community. These concepts to them are absolutely foreign. So a further proof of this disconnect is, you read it, right? You read the IRS announcement? Teachers. Oh, yeah. Teachers.
I was going to say which one. Sorry.
Which one? Which IRS announcement? Yeah, which one? And you look at those because now that you are an EA, what is an EA? Go ahead and tell people what an EA is.
An enrolled agent
What's an enrolled agent?
is a person who is enrolled to represent taxpayers before the IRS.
That's right. And you became enrolled through testing like I did, and it was an unbelievably hard test. I spent 3 months reading obscure tax law. But it all came in handy later. Mm-hmm. It was. I'll never forget when I had my first week. Somebody called me up and I said, "I just read about that. Get in here. I know what to do."
Because when you first take the test, you think, I'm never going to use this.
And then you find you do. Form 5391. It's real. We can do it. Oh, poor Christy. She's the one that had to listen to me at 1 a.m. reading. And then when I found a mistake in one of the forms, I was like, and it was probably a typographical error, but I found instead of the threshold being 10 million, it said it was 1 million, which is a substantial mistake. But I said, look, honey, page 33 of this publication. I can't believe nobody caught that. She said, honey, nobody's reading that except you, okay? So the disconnect. Let's get back to the disconnect. Teachers, you teachers out there, since 2002, the IRS has let you write off a whopping $250, and it hasn't gone up since 2002. It has been $250 since 2002, 20 years ago. $250 wasn't a lot of money 20 years ago. So teachers, you can write off $250 of money you spend for supplies in the classroom. And there's even 2 pages of criteria of what kind of teacher you are to do that. You have to work at least 900 hours. There's about 8 points. It can be private education or public education. It's K through high school. And there's a few other things, but you get to write off $250. Now it's really not a write-off. What it does is it reduces your taxable income, your taxable income. We call that below the line. It's a below the line write-off, $250. So if you're in a 10% tax bracket, it saves you a whopping $25. If you're in a 20% tax bracket, it saves you $50. But it hasn't changed in 20 years.
Last year they updated what you could write off. It didn't have to just be like crayons and school supplies. You could actually include masks and sanitizer.
That's cutting grass kind of money right there.
That's cutting grass money, said Todd. Every teacher I know has laughed. There's not one teacher that hasn't rolled their eyes up at me when I go, oh, and you get the $250. And that's if only one is a teacher. If both husband and wife are teachers, they get $500. Oh, I know. But it doesn't stop there. They just raised it. To $300. $300. Folks, and this is why there's such a disconnect. Every teacher I know, and we were talking about this last night with a teacher, she told me she spent, and she was just like doing the math in her head. She said, I probably spent $1,000 a year. She said, and it's every year. It's not like, because, Sharpies dry out, highlighters dry out. And she showed me this one thing that was on Facebook. It had a picture and it said, government-sponsored education without teachers. And it was just a room with desks, nothing on the walls, nothing on the desks, nothing on the shelves. And it said, education with teachers. And there was the art board, there was the books, the boxes with the crayons and everything. And she said she knows teachers that have thousands and thousands of dollars into these supplies. And they spend them every year.
My mother's a teacher, I know.
That's right. Your mother's a teacher. That's right. How can I forget? Linda's a teacher. Linda's a teacher. Well, you've spent some time in the classroom too. A little bit, right? So, and I know my son was a teacher. And I remember my son on one project that he wanted to do, the little teddy bears. Mm-hmm. He did the little teddy bears with the little eyes and the fur and all that. And he spent like $60 on just that one project for the children. And it had 3 elements in it, and he was very happy. It had an art element, it had a writing element, it had a reading and presentation element, and it was a lesson he developed himself, and he was very proud of it. But like the school gives him like 0 money. There's like no money for teachers, but boy, there sure is money for a lot of other things. But it went up $50. So, and that's not even for 2022. That's for 2020. Well, I'm sorry. It's not for tax year 2021 that we're doing now in 2022. It's for tax year 2022. And now I have never had an auditor ask this, but you are supposed to have receipts. And you can get audited for it. I have heard of people being audited for it. And I remember the lady just saying she laughed when the guy asked her for receipts. She just laughed. She said, I can bring you a couple of cases of crayons if you're in doubt. I said, well, you should have talked to an auditor that way. You may want to just be nice to him and bring him the receipts. But it's a small thing, but it just shows that disconnect. I mean, this should be at least $1,000 minimum, and it really should be a credit where you're getting that money back, like you're getting cash back. Like you spent $500 on supplies or whatever you spent. Here are the receipts. Give me my $500 back. That's how to really fund education. You really want to talk about funding education and stop wasting it on all this other garbage that's just garbage that has no end result. And why is it? Because it's run by people who are crunching numbers. You remember about 15 years ago when Congress called ketchup a vegetable. yeah. So because Todd's like, okay, I'm listening. Yeah, vegetables, sure. Well, that's probably what was going on in that board meeting at that congressional hearing. So, okay, because there's actually a dietary requirement of what they have to offer the students, and it's literally like a dietary, like calories and all that they have to offer. So how do we do that? Well, we give them vegetables. What vegetables do we give them? Ketchup. We give them tomatoes. It's ketchup. Okay, I'm listening. What about that pizza food group? Can we give them some of that? Yeah. No, Chick-fil-A sauce doesn't count, Todd. Todd's holding up. Yeah, but that's the kind of penny pinching that goes on. And it is so devoid of what is really going on. And we have a generation now that can barely read, doesn't know how to write. Penmanship is considered art. I mean, but again, it seems like a small thing, but it's not. It's just not. So that was Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert Talks everything, I guess. Let's take a break. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. We'll be right back.
This is Gilbert. I've made a career out of helping businesses. Something else that can help businesses is a good sign. Let me tell you about DS Signs and Graphics right here in Spindale. Whether it's outdoor signage, banners, printing, or promotional items, call Alex at 828-286-4900. And remember, a good sign is good business.
This is Kimberly. If you owe the IRS for prior years or you have unfiled tax returns, don't call those national toll-free numbers. Affordable, secure, and local help is available for you. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300. Gilbert is an enrolled agent permitted to practice before the IRS. Taxation is his specialty. He knows the latest laws to help you with your problem. Avoid garnishments, levies, and liens. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300.
This is Gilbert. I want to tell you about Jesse James Railroad Express at 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. It's a great place. Jesse's a good friend of mine, and I encourage you to stop by and support him. On Mondays, he's doing a 99-cent hot dog, mustard, chili, and onions. When you go, tell him Mr. Fabulous himself sent you.
We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. The program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert and Emily talk taxes this morning. Those of you live streaming in the Blue Room, WCAB59.com. I get confused with all these call letters. WCAB59.com. Yes, and those of you live streaming later that see us here in the Blue Room, thank you for listening. And we look really good here in the Blue Room. Don't we? Dressed right. Otherwise, I got to be careful. If I wear too blue a suit, I blend in with the walls. And I've actually had people ask me what these things are behind me. For this new generation, these things behind me are called records. They're flat. They're made out of petroleum. And you put them on a thing called a record player. Yeah, and they made sound. There's a bunch of them right behind me. Do these ever get used?
Oh, yeah.
I have had people actually ask me, what is that behind you? They're records. It's usually people under 30 that ask me what that is behind me. But it's a real studio. We are here. So we're going to be back next week. And then on the 16th, we will be live at NC Tractor doing our program live without Todd.
Is that going to wrap up your...
That's going to wrap up my year. And then tax season, because the last date is Monday, the 18th. So really, nobody's going to want to hear about taxes the following Saturday.
What you should have done.
What you should have done had you filed an extension. Well, maybe that should be the program, Gilbert Talks Extensions. If you filed an extension, and that deadline of the 18th is not just an extension to file the deadline to file your tax return. One thing that you can still do, and I'm having people do it, I had somebody come yesterday and do it, is you can contribute to your IRA. You can contribute to your IRA right up until the 18th. So you can go to your financial planner. I am a financial planner. I do investments. If you don't have an IRA and you'd like one, you can give me a call, 828-289-9300. That's pretty subtle, wasn't it, Emily? That was pretty subtle. You can give me a call, and I can open up an IRA for you if it's the right investment for you. You have to disclaim a little. If it's the right investment for you, but you can contribute to your IRA. So there's the catch-up contribution and that counts towards your 2021 tax return. So I have a lot of people, and actually I'm surprised at how many people that want to see where they're at. Most of them are self-employed people, and they're seeing whether they should fund their accounts or not. They'll wait, I prepare the tax return, and then they look at it and say, so if I make these contributions, what will it do? So we're still having quite a few of those. At this time of the year, most of the people that show up are people that know they're going to owe, and they have to get like dragged to my office, usually by their spouse. It drags them to the office with a bunch of crumpled up receipts and everything in like a shoebox or a BILO bag.
Okay,
Well,
tell us how much it is.
Yeah. And and I said BILO bag. Yeah. BILO closed. Okay, so that's how old these receipts are. They bring whatever, and just they're praying the whole way to my office that I'll find a refund somewhere in that BILO bag. There is a refund, but that's the crowd that usually comes now, and there is a group of people that extend because of just their business model. They are, as the one man said, the year they extended tax season to June, he said, finally the IRS got on my schedule. Well, because they're busy. This is springtime, especially my landscapers and people like that. They extend every year just so they can come with a clear head in June or July, and we can, look at it when their business is a little more settled, a little more level. But filing that extension is very important because you're going to avoid penalties. You're going to avoid that failure to file penalty is a big one, especially for your LLCs. Partnerships, you're actually fined per partner, $185 a month per partner for the first 6 months for being late. And that one really gets people's attentions because you get that one once, you're never late again, especially if you have 3 partners, 6 partners. Several of the businesses that we have multiple partners. Okay, so Emily, what else is happening this deadline?
So the IRS put out a memo that they have $1.5 billion in unclaimed 2018 refunds.
Is that where I laid that $1.5 billion? I was wondering where that was.
So IRS Commissioner Chuck Rettig is encouraging people to act quickly because the deadline for claiming 2018 refunds closes on April 18th, 2022, because there's a 3-year window. After that, you don't get your money back.
Yeah, a 3-year window from the filing date for that return, and that confuses a lot of people because I actually had somebody last week or the week before ask me about 2018. So this is very timely you're bringing this up. It's the filing. So 2018 taxes were filed April 15th, 2019. So it's 3 years from that date, which is going to be in 2 weeks.
So the IRS estimates the midpoint for the potential refunds from 2018 to be at $813, meaning half would be more than that and half could be less than that.
Yeah, and that's about right. That's about right. I really, what do you think about that? Ooh, numbers. Pages with numbers, Emily. What are those?
Okay, so they've estimated by state how many people have not filed. For North Carolina, we hit it pretty high. 50,069 individuals they're estimating have not filed a 2018 return, which a potential refund is averaging at $776.
I didn't realize they drilled down that good.
Well,
So
they have
North Carolina.
each state.
So they have all the states. There. So North Carolina, there are 50,069 of you out there. Okay? And probably 50,062 of them are listening to me right now. Okay? Get your taxes filed. There's $776 average waiting for you. That's pretty good. Which state has the highest, I wonder? New York, of course. Of course. Bunch of Democrats. New York. They're, haven't filed their taxes. So the total number is?
1,514,627 estimated individuals have not filed 2018 taxes.
And that's where they get that total of one. So I see how they did that. Look at them. There's the math behind it. I always wondered where the math was because it always seemed to me like they're whipping these numbers out. They make half these numbers up anyway, just it's been my experience that they do, because when you ask them hard questions, they can't answer it. But here, they really went in depth. New York, what other state? New York and California. The highest state where people don't file tax returns is California. 158,000. I'm sorry, 148,000. Sorry, 148,938. Yeah, California. Which is the most compliant state, I wonder? Well, it's done by population. It's probably averaged out by population. So your small states,
Yeah, I was
your
gonna say
main...
Montana's pretty low, but
Yeah, Montana. God bless those people in Montana. Yeah, District of Columbia is almost as high as New York, and it's like half the population. Yeah. Okay. No, actually, per capita, that's a pretty high number. Florida. Let me talk to DeSantos and tell him to shape up down there. 98,979. But 50,000 of you here in North Carolina, $1.5 billion, and they're estimating. Now, what's deceptive about that number is they really don't know, but that is how much they actually have a fund where this money sits, because in theory, the government can't touch that money. It's like the North Carolina Treasury, North Carolina, what is the position? The treasurer, where if you have uncollected money, by law, insurance companies and taxing agencies have to send that money to the North Carolina treasurer. And he has to hold that money. It's called a cheating. And that money sits there, and there's nothing they can do with it. They can't invest it. They can't do anything with it. And literally, there are billions and billions of unclaimed dollars sitting in these funds. And I did that one time in Illinois, and I found like $50 from a job from 25 years ago. I found $180 from an insurance company refund. I got two checks. Oh yeah, we went to dinner that night. We got out. So what do they need to do?
so you need to file a 2018 tax return, but if you don't have your paperwork from 3 years ago, you can pull a transcript from irs.gov. You can log in there and get your wage and income transcript, and then file as best you can what you think it would be, because whatever's there is what the IRS has on file for you anyway.
Exactly. I would go ahead and if you filed a tax return, I mean, you may want to, but we do this when we talk to people anyway. That's why when we get a new client, we ask to see their last year's tax return. We look at it. You'd be surprised some of the mistakes we found. We've actually found people, it doesn't happen all the time, so don't come running to my office with last year's tax return wanting your money, but we do find, we have found mistakes or overlooked deductions, or school teachers that didn't claim their $250. We actually have found a few of those. School teachers that didn't claim their $250. We found just business deductions that weren't right, and we've gone through them, and we have actually found people some refunds looking back. So you can always take a look at it, because once that deadline closes, that's it for getting your tax credits, child tax credits, earned income tax credits, education credits, solar credits, solar panel credits, which a lot of people, you're going to start seeing a lot of those, Emily. I actually had one this week. They forgot, and I said to him, how do you forget this? It's pretty substantial. He forgot a $28,000, that he spent $28,000 on solar panels. I don't know, it seems to me I would remember that. But he forgot, and just in the conversation, somebody, the way it came to his attention is a neighbor got him, or a friend got him, or somebody got him, and said, you get up to 25% credit for the money you spent, which is not really, you do get that credit, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it in that tax year, because it depends how much taxable income you had. It's a whole formula, but if you don't use the whole credit, it keeps carrying forward like forever until you use it. So he called me and said, I got out my 2020 tax return. He saved it, because we give you, when you come, we give you your little booklet with everything, and I give you a complete tax return. I give you everything, all the diagnostics, the analytics, everything that goes with it, for this reason. So he got it out, looked at it, and said, I don't see where I put that $28,000 in solar panels. That was for 2020. I said, well, we need to amend. I said, we definitely left some money on the table there. And it's in our organizer, and we go over it. We ask them. I mean, we ask you, did you do anything? It's like Bitcoin. I know we're asking people now about cryptocurrency. Did you invest in cryptocurrency? We just have to ask you the question. If you did, it doesn't mean you're going to pay any tax on it. You don't pay tax on cryptocurrency unless you sold it and made money with it. And then you have capital gains. Because cryptocurrency doesn't pay dividends, doesn't pay interest. Some accounts might pay a little, but most don't. So we're asking you. And I was just saying this at the office. I said, we're asking people, did you invest in cryptocurrency? Oh, no. Oh, no. And you know what's going to be happening in a year or 2 years? They're going to start getting letters from the IRS about unreported cryptocurrency capital gains. And they're going to call us, and we're going to say, well, we asked you about that. And they're going to go, oh, that cryptocurrency.
We have it documented right here.
Yeah, because we ask you. So, and really there's a lot of confusion around cryptocurrency. Oh, you mean digital currency? Yeah, same thing. Oh, you mean Bitcoin? No, well,
Ether?
You mean Ethereum? Yeah, Ethereum. So Todd looked it up one day for me here. We did a live program on it. There are, what was it, Todd? There were 3,600 different cryptocurrencies. So it's not, Bitcoin's just one of them, and it's not the most popular one. Now, anyway, we have a question. Is North Carolina behind on refunds? They are. Behind is, what's a word, Emily, that's beyond behind? What could be? Yes, they are very behind. Let me just say that. They actually, North Carolina, this is a whole topic. This person that just called. Let's take a break. I'm going to talk about this. Thank you. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB. Gilbert and Emily Talk Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9.
Hi, I'm Sandra. My husband Peterson and I own Precision Detail and Tint. We invite you to come to our new location at 620 U.S. Highway 64, Rutherfordton, on the corner of Silvers Lake Road and Highway 64. Whether you need specialty detailing for your car, RV, or boat, or window tinting for your automobile, or home or business, we can help you. Voted Best of Rutherford County for 11 straight years, you will know you will get quality work at a good price. Stop by for an appointment or call 828-245-8889. We're open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 1.
I want to tell you about another great local business, Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949. Sean is a licensed general contractor. He can do your job from site development to completion. That's Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949 and tell him Gilbert Talks Taxes sent you. I want to tell you about a little-known Rutherford County gem, Integrity Marble and Granite, located at 287 Shiloh Road in Forest City. They are the premier stone fabrication company in the western North Carolina region. They specialize in granite, marble, and natural stone, offering complete design and installation. Their design center and Kohler showroom features vanities, decorative accessories, bathroom, and kitchen fixtures. You do not have to go to Charlotte or Asheville for this kind of quality. We have it right here in Forest City. Stop in their showroom and browse their beautiful displays, or you can call 828-247-8801 for a free quote. You can also go to their website, www.integritymarblegranite.com, and look at the pictures and see samples of their available materials. Now, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes, and they will give you $100 off any sink purchase. That's Integrity Marble and Granite.
Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9, and we are going to be live at NC Tractor Supply. Did we already do Phil's commercial? Remind me to when we do Phil's commercial. It's coming up. It's coming up. Yes, I got a feeling it's gonna be. I feel good about doing this. When Jim called me, I had a major amen. Let's do it. I was so excited. Phil thought about me to do that. Another business that we support here, Brock Family Care. Brock Family Care at 289 Shiloh Road, Forest City, North Carolina. And Brock, go see her for all your medical needs. And what I love about it is she's doing just a monthly payout. You just pay. It includes 2 blood works. I just had my blood work. It came back golden. She Ann said I am the picture of health. Oh, I was so excited. I was so excited about that. Oh, it was great. Ann Brock Family Care. You can give them a call at 828-382-7282. That's 828-382-7282. Give Ann a call. So, let's talk about this. North Carolina, are they behind on refunds? They are behind on everything, not just refunds. They didn't even have they weren't even ready in January when the IRS started accepting e-file. They weren't ready. They told us they were going to be ready February 28th, and they started accepting them on February 28th, but we weren't getting any approvals. We didn't start getting approvals till I can't remember the exact date, but I want to say March 3rd or March 4th. So what does that all mean? Okay, so at the beginning of tax season, the IRS opens up their servers. It's called the MEF platform. That is the modern e-file platform. It is their computer network. Okay? Big M, capital M, little e, big F, right? Okay. You've already learned all about this. So they open it up, and it's their server, and it is a monster server that they have. They really have a major computer system. Okay. So I'm an ERO. I'm an electronic return originator. So when I do I'm not just a tax preparer. We're not just financial planners. We actually do full service. Everything's done in-house with me. And that's key. That's very important. I've gone through I've been fingerprinted. I've gone through the whole thing to be able to do this. So I prepare your tax return, and then I don't send it to somebody else to file it with the IRS. I directly file it with the IRS through my software vendor. We directly file it. So when I get that acceptance back from the IRS, it means they have it. Okay? And I get a long, it's one of those passwords which made up of numbers and letters and capital and lowercase. It's very long. That means they've accepted it. So it's timely filed. That's why April 18th, the last day of tax season this year, I can file tax returns right up until midnight. And actually, there's about a 5-minute window, and I've pushed that envelope a few times. There's like a 5-minute. Well, those kind of marginal extensions, that we kind of hold on to. I can file up until midnight, and it counts. It's right in there. As long as I send it to them and it's sitting on that server, I get that timestamp. Okay, and then I get the acceptance or I get a reject, and it rejects for many reasons. If I have a reject, I have 10 days to perfect it. Okay, so that's how that all works. North Carolina is all the states. There's 40 states that have state income tax. North Carolina is one of them. They kind of piggyback on the federal, and everything kind of works the same way. Well, North Carolina announced this year that because of, for whatever reason, there was a because of, and we never really did get, it was kind of like a vague reason, they weren't going to be ready, which is not a big deal. We've had other states that are doing things with their computers or they've got last minute tax laws they want to tweak, because this is really an undertaking. It's really an undertaking when you think of the hundreds of millions of tax returns that get filed electronically, secure, and I mean there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So we were like, okay, got the email about mid-January. We got the email about the time the IRS announced their first filing date, which it feels like it was years ago now. It was January. What was the first date? January 24th? Something like that? 24th, 25th was the first date for the IRS. And North Carolina said they weren't going to be ready for that date, that it would be a little bit later. So we're like, okay, well, how much later? Then we got a follow-up email saying February 28th. Well, that's not a little bit later. That's 1/12 of the year.
Yeah, it was almost like a month later.
It was exactly a month later. It was a month and some days. Well, so we started. I didn't wait, and I did this for our clients because it really was double work for us. I wasn't going to hold your IRS tax return for North Carolina because I can file them separately. But I have to go back and file all those North Carolinas, which is like filing a whole other tax return. It was a lot of work. But I made that decision because I didn't want people to wait for their refunds.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that wanted to file in January.
We had a lot of refunds. Todd, I wasn't going to mention your name, but since you raised your hand, since you volunteered, yes, we had a lot of people that were ready. And in fairness to them, I mean, they want their refund, right? So I went ahead and made the decision that we were going to do that. So I went back and started e-filing those, and they sat on the server without an approval for probably, I don't know, I didn't keep a log, but it was about 5 days, which is an eternity in tax season. Mm-hmm. So 5 days. So they were very, very behind. That means they didn't start processing tax returns. They couldn't have because they didn't have it. They didn't start processing tax returns, and I know I sent them 500 or 600 at that point. So I'm going to assume that everybody else had the same problem. And I kept calling my software provider, and I kept saying, what's going on? And they said, we really don't know. They just keep telling us to wait, and that you should hold off on filing your IRS tax return. I'm like, oh, yes, people are going to wait 6 weeks just because North Carolina's not ready. They're going to wait for their refunds. So yes, whoever called and asked that question, yes, they are very behind. So you filed, the persons that called said they filed their tax return February 16th. North Carolina didn't even get it till March 3rd, I'm thinking they're about. March 3rd, so if you're going to follow a normal 14 to 21 day processing cycle for them, you're not going to get, you should have gotten, or you should be getting your tax return. You should have gotten it last week, or you should be getting it this week. Now, you can go to Where's My Refund at the North Carolina NCDOR, their website, but that really doesn't tell you very much. It's kind of a poor interface there. It just tells you that it says it's a lot of ifs. If we received it, and if everything's okay. Now, you can call them. They do answer their phone. The hold times are nowhere near as long as they are for the IRS. But they are very, very behind. Not just on this, they're behind on just a lot of things.
Yeah. I just went to look up and see what the date was, and they're still talking about the 2021, like filing your 2020 taxes on their website.
On NCDO,
Anyway.
Let me take that all in.
The date, I went to look up the date so we could make sure, I'm just fact checking, right? Live radio.
I'm glad you do.
It's all the dates are for the 2020 tax season.
They haven't updated anything for 2021.
File it before April 15th, 2021.
Yeah, so that's how behind they are.
Just, to add to your story there.
Yeah, they're a little behind. So, and I get it. I mean, there's a lot has happened in the last couple of years, but I mean, this kind of stuff is not really acceptable. Shouldn't be acceptable. They should be a little bit more on the top of it. You know who's really on top of things is that South Carolina. Their DOR is. I mean, that My Doorway that they have, it's very impressive. Very, very impressive. And you know what state probably has the worst? Is New York. You would think New York would be right, a big city, cutting edge, Albany and all that. No, it's horrible. It's like talking to, it was like talking to some state that's like 30 years behind the times. They have get me going. Let's talk about, you found some interesting information. So debunking myths.
Do you want to start this before the break?
We want to go ahead and take this last break? This is our last break, right, Todd?
Yep.
What do we have here? We have NC Tractor Supply. Oh, sure. Let's take this last break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about debunking some myths about federal tax refunds. That's some interesting stuff. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. People come up to me and say, Gilbert, thank you for doing my tax return, and thank you for getting me that big refund. Do you have any ideas what I can do with that refund? Oh, yes, I do. Take that refund right over to NC Tractor and Farm Supply, talk to Phil, get you a brand new shiny red Massey Ferguson. That's NC Tractor and Farm Supply, Railroad Avenue. You can call Phil at 828-429-5008.
By the way, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes. I'm hoping he'll give me a discount when I go buy my brand new shiny Massey Ferguson tractor. As we get ready for this year's tax season, there's one thought on everyone's mind. Will Gilbert's hair look fabulous this year? Oh, yes, it will. How can I say that? Because I go to Robin Saunders at RSL Salon. Whether it's a good haircut, a pedicure, or a manicure, you can count on RSL Salon. Call Robin at 828-289-9110 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
This is Christy Carmona, and tax season is here. Gilbert and I prepare all tax return forms. Personal 1040s, corporate 1120s, 1120Ss, partnerships, estates, trusts, and not-for-profit returns. From the simplest returns to the most complicated returns, we are committed to quality, secure, and personalized service. We have 2 locations, one in Rutherfordton and one in Tryon. So call us today at 828-289-9300 to make your appointment. And new for this year, we have with every 1040 personal tax return, it includes at no extra cost $1 million of tax audit defense and ID protection. So call us today at 828-289-9300.
We are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes right here, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. Okay, if you need to get a hold of us, I just realized I didn't give this out. Our telephone number is 828-289-9300. We have 2 offices, one in Rutherford and one in Tryon. Okay, let's not waste any time on that anymore. So this is somebody actually went to Where's My Refund at NCDOR, which is actually eservices.dor.nc.gov. This is the actual website. And it says, thank you for using this application. Now, I want to read that one part that you read. Here we go. NCDOR has issued your refund. The late budget approved delayed our timeline for opening tax season to the week of February 28th. Although your return has not been processed yet, we are working as quickly as possible to process all returns. No, they're not. If they'd be working today. They're not working today, okay? People that work are working today, okay? I don't want to hear this. If you filed your return electronically and received an acknowledgement, your return has been received, but has not yet started processing. So the person that called me, this applies to you right here. Taxpayers can expect to begin receiving refunds in early April. Well, it's early April. Our priority is to issue refunds in an efficient and timely manner. Continue to check the website for updates on our progress. After May 1st, follow the guidelines below. If it has been more than 6 weeks since you filed your electronic return, call this telephone number, 877-252-3052. Now, that's after May 1st. Don't call them now. You're going to get this vague, we don't know answer. And then you're in stage 7 tax refund at that point. Here you go. Okay. And I mean, get me going. It's just, and I understand legislation and laws and things happen, and they made changes, and you want to flow with them, but again, it's that government disconnect that I started the program with. They are so disconnected from our reality. There are people that need this money. And it's their money. They act like they're doing you a favor. Okay, let me go ahead and give you that. If you really want it, no, it's my money. It's my $700 or whatever it is. Give it to me. And they don't get it. Okay, Emily, debunking myths about federal tax refunds.
Okay, so myth number 1. Calling the IRS, tax software provider, or a tax professional will provide a more accurate refund date.
Okay, now let's set this up. This is actually from the IRS. You got this from irs.gov.
Yes, sir.
This is brand new tax tips. Okay, so that's the myth. What do they say?
Many people think talking to the IRS, tax software provider, or their tax professional is the best way to find out when they will get their refund. The best way to check the status of a refund is online through Where's My Refund tool on the IRS or on the IRS To Go app.
Right. Okay. So let me translate that for you. Yeah.
Then they go on to say you can call the automated refund hotline at 800-829-1954.
Yeah. Then you just have a voice telling you they don't know, instead of the computer telling you they don't know. So you go to the tool, you use the tool. And so if you call me and you want to know where's your refund, the two things that I do is the very first thing I do is I go to your tax return and confirm the acceptance and confirm the acceptance date. And if it's been less than 3 weeks, there's really nothing we can do, and it's kind of a moot point. They've received it. It's less than 3 weeks. Then I go to where's my refund to see what they have to say. Okay, if it's after 3 weeks, if it's earlier than 3 weeks, it's usually you get this vague answer that
Pending or something.
Pending or so, yeah, something like that. So, but after 3 weeks, now I can call the IRS and so can Emily, because we're practitioners, we're enrolled agents. We can call the IRS, but if we call before 2 months, there's really nothing they can tell us that the computer, because you know what happens when you call the IRS? Do you really know what happens?
They go to where's my refund?
They go to where's my refund. That's exactly what they do. They go to where's my refund, and they look at it, and because I've heard them actually reading it like word for word. And if So, okay, myth number 2.
Ordering a tax transcript is a secret way to get a refund date. Doing so will not help taxpayers find out when they will get their refund. Where's my refund tells the taxpayer their tax return has been received and if the IRS has approved or sent the refund.
Yeah, ordering a tax transcript is really kind of waste of time. That tells you nothing. I don't know where that even would even come up. As a matter of fact, an account transcript, all it's going to tell them is that they got it, and that's really all you're going to get. The only information you're going to get it's no secret. The secret is that you can't get one because they're not answering their phone.
Myth number 3. Where's my refund tool must be wrong because there's no deposit date yet. Updates to Where's My Refund on both irs.gov and the IRS To Go mobile app are made once a day, usually overnight. So even though the IRS issues most refunds within 21 days, it is possible that a refund may take longer. If the IRS needs more information to process the tax return, the agency will contact the taxpayer by mail.
Yeah, I've seen the tool be wrong. I have actually seen the tool be wrong a few, but really that tool is a very good tool. For most people, that tool is spot on, and it does give you a date, and it is a target date. I've seen that tool be very accurate, so let me just say that, and I've also seen it be wrong. But in absence of any other information, it's the only information you have. And they only update it once a day. So just sitting there on your computer and refreshing
is not going to change the info.
What it says at 8 o'clock in the morning is what it's going to say at 8 o'clock at night. Yes, because we've looked and I've seen it. Okay, next one.
Myth 4. Where is my refund? Must be wrong because a refund amount is less than what I expected.
Oh.
There are several factors that could cause a tax refund to be less than expected. The IRS will mail the taxpayer a letter of explanation if adjustments were made. Some taxpayers may also receive a letter from the Department of Treasury's Bureau of the Fiscal Service if their refund was reduced to offset certain financial obligations. Before calling, check Where's My Refund or wait for the letter to understand why the change was made. This can help taxpayers know how to respond if necessary.
Yes, there's also, I don't have this number handy, but there is also another telephone number that you can call. Do they talk about the Treasury Department offset program in any of these myths? See, that is a way. So sometimes they keep your money for many reasons. They keep your money because child support, student loans, medical bill. Well, so a medical bill provider can't just ping the IRS and keep your refund. But some states, if there's some things that were done through the state has the authority to actually go to the IRS and have your refund sent to them. But typically, it's student loans, child
support.
Child support. Thank you. Child support, and now Illinois can actually lien your state refunds for parking tickets. Yes, Illinois parking tickets. Which, if you've ever lived, like I lived outside of Chicago, it's a thing. Believe me, if you don't have at least $200 or $300 in parking tickets, it's because you don't own a car. Because you park places and there's no sign, and you come back and there's a ticket on you. You just pay them. It's just another tax you pay. But so they actually will keep your refund. So there's other things, but for the most part, but there's this telephone number. It's called You can Google it. It's called the Treasury Offset Program telephone number, United States Treasury. You call that number, put your social security number in there, and it will tell you if your refund is going to be offset and what agency is doing the offset. Now, they don't give you the amount, they don't give you any other information, but they do tell you the agency telephone number. So some people, if they come to me and they say, I've got a child support problem, I've got a student loan problem, I'll call that number. I have the number at the office. I'll call it, and that's a very accurate tool.
But see, some of this we've been seeing this year. People are saying they didn't get their stimulus payment, and then
I know.
the refund comes back less because the IRS says they did give them the stimulus payment. So that's another.
This is going to be a whole new problem we have. So people are saying, that, and even they got a letter from the IRS saying we gave you $4,200. And the people are going, I never got that $4,200. And then I'll go, okay, I put it on the tax return. They didn't get it. So their refund is bumped by $4,200. And then they get a letter. And their refund is reduced and says, we gave you that money. So we're just dealing with these case by case. And my first question is, if you had direct deposit, please go to your bank and ask your bank, get your bank statements, look
For IRS.gov.
IRS, it says it on there, Economic Impact Payment, EIPS, it's on there. And the other one is the Advanced Child Tax Credit. Oh, I did not get that $1,500. You didn't get $250 a month for 6 months? Oh, that. Is that what that was? That's what we're getting. So if you put that on that you didn't get it, and you did get it, it's going to slow your refund up, and it's going to make a mess. Next one. We still have a couple of minutes.
Getting a refund this year means there's no need to adjust withholding for 2022. To help avoid a surprise next year, taxpayers should make changes now to prepare for next year. One way to do this is adjust your tax withholding with the employer. The tax withholding estimator tool, I think we talked about that last week.
You did a whole program on it 2 weeks
can
ago.
help taxpayers determine if their employer is withholding the right amount. Taxpayers who experience life events like marriage, divorce, birth of a child, and adoption are no longer able to claim a dependent are encouraged to check with their employer about withholding. Taxpayers can use the results from the tax withholding estimator to complete and submit a new W-4.
Exactly. We talked about this. We did a program. I'm telling you, somebody at the IRS is listening to this program, Todd. Somebody over there, somebody's getting up early on Saturday morning to listen to Gilbert Talks Taxes. Because I will talk about a topic, and then, once or twice call it a coincidence, but this is like the 5th time this year. And then on the 30th, a week later, they do a whole info on their
Debunking a myth.
on IRS.gov. You should go to. They're going to start quoting me. When they start quoting me is when we know. You can GilbertTalksTaxes.com. So.
Start showing up as reference tools.
Yes. No, when I'm a reference link on a wiki page, that's when I know I've made it. Okay. So yes, and another thing that I think is going to happen is people are making more money. I've talked about it 2 weeks in a row now. People are making more money. They're going to be phasing out of these credits because I used Baxter as an example because I've a lot of you that listen to me work there. I know that because you tell me, and a lot of people from the county work up at Baxter, and there are people that just got $3 an hour raises there, depending on how long you've been there, and all kinds of factors were involved. Shift differential, you get a promotion. I mean, a $3 an hour raise is if you work 2,080 hours a year, that's over $6,000 a year. That's enough to bump you into bump you out of earned income tax credit. It's enough. So you may not get these credits. So just because you got a refund this year doesn't means you're okay. No. Do you have children that you're not going to be claiming next year? At $3,000 child tax credit, that's a lot of money. And there's a lot of reasons. The children move out, they get their job, they're too old. Remember, they have to live with you more than half the year for you to claim that child. What if they live, there's a divorce, live with another spouse? All these things are factors. And I have seen people go from getting a $3,000-$4,000 refund to owing $2,000 because they were not aware of these changes. I actually had one this year, and I mean, they were shocked. And the funny thing is, I told them last year, I said, your daughters are at that age. Okay, we have 5 seconds left. Thank you for listening. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9.
Your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
Partly sunny skies are expected for today throughout our area here in Rutherford County.